Welcome back. This is Sports Zone on Joy Prime. My name is Fencho Tahir Fencho. Thank you for joining us, always making a date with us here on the show. It's live and interactive, so you can send me a message on Twitter, use the hashtag SportsZone to leave me your message. We've got a lot to go through. Or send me a WhatsApp message right now, 0551 575757. Thanks to Piva, Guinness, and Kivo for always coming through. Today we've come here with a new Piva product, the Tangy, which is actually my favorite, one of my favorite drinks. Guinness Foreign Extra Stout and Guinness Smooth. For those of you, let me put it well. It's like this. It's like this. And this one is like this. Call me drunkard. Family home. Switch over Philip and Daniel Crancy are here. Guys, welcome to the show. It's a packed show tonight. We've got a lot to get through. But how was your weekend?
Yeah, lovely weekend. Of course, one of the biggest of
Not so great. I don't think you had a great weekend. You were backing Inter Milan strongly.
Hey, you know I'm not too emotional about football. I make my
predictions.
They're not
I know.
prophecies.
I didn't say you cried. I just said it was...
No, I said I had a great weekend. You said I didn't have a great weekend because...
Are you in his feelings?
And I'm saying that didn't change anything about how great my weekend was because I enjoyed PSG and the way they played. So I was backing Inter, but ultimately PSG just gave us something weird.
And you, this guy, when I was telling you that every time they play the final in Munich, a new winner emerged. He said, "Oh, is it that him?" He said,
"We'll come up for that."
You get the video. You
can't. You will talk say if a pope dies. I think it's me. That one where
No. But that one we explain them.
Yes.
No, they say if a pope dies, an English team wins.
Yes.
But that has always coincided with an English team being a first-time winner. But if you beat PSV on route to the final, you don't win. So that's what eliminated us now.
Yes. You he said he can't give example. He said that be why when PSG meets this thing. He said if the really get the ball, they pass back.
As PSG play PSG, when you concede first too, they didn't want to score. So, I feel like when they give again, keep it got some boy. One blast the ball wide, when the ball keeper shall he go score. Oh, that boy! Oh no!
Like you're saying that they knew.
They knew. So even when they scored, they didn't want to celebrate.
Error.
After the 1-1, they stopped playing.
Right. Guys, thank you. Listen, we are also partners for the Ghana Football Awards, which is in its 7th year. We will show that here on Joy Prime. And today they unveiled the nominees. So we'll just go through the nominees very shortly. Benaya, there you go. Women's Team Coach of the Year nominees. Abu Kasim, Police Ladies. Abu Kasim is from Tumu, by the way. Joyce Boyd J, Mercy Tego, those Black Queens coach. Black Damsels coach. And then the Oaks FC, House of Oaks women's team coach. She led them to promotion. So she's been nominated. The men's coach of the year, Kwesi Afia, for what he did with Sudan, obviously. Kasim Mengo for what he's doing with Nations, or what he had been doing until this weekend. Then Fifi Parker, of course, of Golden Kicks, my very good friend. And then Stephen Frimpong Manso, also of the PNA Gold Stars, who are now in pole position to win the Ghana Premier League title. Most vibrant club on social media, Mediama, the Lali Franks, Nations FC, and then Accra Heart of Lions nominated. There was a year when it was Olympics and Olympics and Olympics. Odatilemte Future Star Award, Young Player of the Year, that's what it is. Jerry Afriye nominated. Christiana Ashaku of Black Mages has also been nominated. Edmund Beidu of Red Bull Salzburg has also been nominated. Beidu's had a great season. Home-based Female Footballer of the Year. Mercy Berkon, Police Ladies, they are Women's Premier League champions, remember. Stella Nyamiche again, Dreams Lady, she's been nominated yet again. Marianne Ponsa has been nominated again, and then Annabelle Bansa, of Faith Ladies has also been nominated. Rather interesting and competitive list. Home-based Footballer of the Year, who is that going to go to? Razak Simpson of Nations, Faisal Chawate is also been nominated, also of Nations, and then Samuel Atta Kumi, Gold Stars, has also been nominated. Then there is Stephen Amankona, Breakham Charles, who's leading the goal scorers. Chad Rudolph Jr., Nana Kwesi. What an interesting arrangement of the name. Should be Nana Kwesi Rudolph Jr. Best Ghanaian Club CEO. Okay. Kwame Dankwa of Nations FC, nominated. Then there is DCOP leader, Donko of Police Ladies. She's also been nominated. Police Ladies are the WPL champions. Randy Ave, Heart of Lions, they've had an incredible season. And then also John Peter Ayew, who has led Ohio United to first ever promotion to the Ghana Premier League. Goalkeeper of the Year, the nominees: Benjamin Asari, Hearts of Oak. There's Emmanuel Kobe of the Beauty Gold Stars, and there's Lawrence Osei of Hearts of Lions. Lawrence Osei, what a season he's had as well. Let's see if we have some other men's team of the year. Which of these teams should be named the men's team of the year? Is it Golden Kicks for reaching the FA Cup final, Nations FC for potentially winning the Ghana Premier League, Beauty Gold Stars, maybe for the same reason, Kotoko for the same reason, they're also in the FA Cup final, or Hawaii United for getting promoted to the Ghana Premier League? Which team deserves to be men's national team of the year, or men's team of the year, sorry. Then there's female team of the year nominees: Police Ladies, Black Themselves, Black Maidens, and Oak Ladies, a House of Oak female team. Those are the nominees. Only one can be a winner. Now we are getting to the end. The Women's Footballer of the Year, the Women's Football of the Year, and the Men's Football of the Year. For Women's Football of the Year, Macy Berko of Police Ladies, Alice Kusi of Al Ali. Sicho, what are you saying? Talk.
I'm saying Doris has to win.
Mariam Pwansa of Ampim Dakoa, and Doris Buidua. Player. Formerly of Hazakis. Where is she now? Can't see her club. They didn't attach her club, or she's unattached.
Exploits with that.
That's not good. That's the good.
Best African International nominees. This one is tight, isn't it? Who? Salah for winning the league with Liverpool and having his best ever goal scoring season. I don't hear. Ashraf Hakimi for the season he's had, or Sekou Gourase for becoming the first ever African to top score in the Champions League. Let's move on to the rest of the nominations. Then the Ghana Football of the Year, which is what many people are waiting for: Inaki Williams, Thomas Partey, and Antoine Semenyo. Let's say Ghana Football Awards. Me now, I have problems with this nomination. Because me myself, come on, Antoine Semenyo, yes.
Cool.
Mohamed Husseini should be in there. Ransford Koenigsdorfer should be in this list.
Wait, my question is, what is the criteria? Is the performance
Top
for the
performing Ghanaian footballer in the year
under review? Yes. So the national team doesn't matter?
No.
Or what you do in the national team doesn't
Everything
matter?
matters, actually. Everything.
Somebody scored 9 goals in 13 appearances. Somebody has 16 goal contributions in 13 appearances.
Jordan!
In fact, it extends to now.
Hat-trick of assists, hat-trick of goals in World Cup qualifying in the same year.
And we're looking at Bournemouth and Arsenal and Athletic Bilbao. How does that one apply to us?
All right. Guys, let's come back home then and talk about what happened in the Ghana Premier League this weekend. Ordinarily today, we should be discussing what should have been the penultimate round of matches and what should have set up the league for a wonderful, tightly contested finish on the last day. And yet, the penultimate day was filled with a lot of drama. When Nations FC, they were playing against Basake Holy Stars. Basake Holy Stars were a team that just needed to avoid defeat to stay at the top of the Premier League. But Dreams FC were winning, and so it didn't really matter if Basake Holy Stars had won or had lost that game. They still would have been safe because they were they were their opponents or their competitors in the relegation fight, which was Accra Lions, were already being beaten. So at that point, Basake Holy Stars didn't really need to win the game. But they didn't know that because the matches were being played concurrently. And so they got a first penalty, scored the penalty, then they got a second penalty against Nations FC. And Nations FC, by the way, also entered the weekend 3 points ahead of their closest contenders, Gold Stars. And so they also needed to avoid defeat to stay top of the table. But, of course, after the first penalty was awarded against them, the penalty was taken, so they were down 1-0. Second penalty awarded against them, and they said the officiating was unfair and that they were not going to continue playing. We will show you one of those penalties. In fact, the penalty that caused the whole incident. And these were some of the scenes after the penalty was awarded and all of the drama that unfolded. This is the penalty incident. Apparently, it's a handball. Referees gives it, but then Nations FC contend that it wasn't a penalty, and they say that that incident was not the only one, and that they had some other clear calls that were made against them and what have you. But this is the penalty decision.
It wasn't a penalty.
Was it a penalty?
If you play it slowly, you see it hit his chest.
That's what you're seeing.
The normal.
But it also looks like it struck his arm.
Yeah, it looks like from this speed. But if you slow it down and you play, you see it clearly hit his chest. It didn't hit his arm.
Even if it struck his arm, proximity counts. I think it was very close. And but I was speaking to people from Nations FC. One of the things they were concerned about was their fans. Ahead of the game, their fans tickets were not sold to their fans. Yeah. And their fans were being attacked outside the stadium. This
is what you're talking about. The statement that they released after.
Yeah.
They say that the level of officiating was extremely poor and fell well below the expected standard. Yeah. They also said that their president and chairman, Dr. Kwame James, were physically assaulted by the home supporters. They also say that the pre-match agreement stipulated the deployment of 70 police officers, but that there were only about 20.
Yeah.
This has been contested, by the way, because they said if this was the case, then they had no business starting the match in the first place.
Yeah.
Because that's the regulation. If the security is not adequate, you should not start the game. So don't start the match and now come and complain that the security wasn't adequate. That's what everyone is saying. Then they said disrespect for supporters, which is the point you were on.
Yeah.
That despite holding valid match tickets, their fans were unjustly denied entry into the stadium. They also say that their cameraman, despite being accredited, was not allowed to record the game. Hence the reason we don't have any other footage from the game except just this single video.
So the penalty that is out there, according to reports from the venue, the Basake Holy Stars actually took that penalty. Mm-hmm. So the penalty that they disagree shouldn't be a penalty. We've not seen the footage. Yes. What we see here is not the reason why they stopped the game, according to them. What we see here, the game went on. They took this penalty, they scored. They had a counter-attack, referee blew for an offside and a lot of things. But look, personally, I'm very tired about talking about these things. Vince. I think that the more they'll tell you, the football people will tell you that let's speak positive about the game.
Yeah.
So one thing I've learned is when these negative things happen, I better not speak because it sheds more light on the negativity. But when the positive things happen, maybe we will speak because that is what they want. Clearly, Police life that was lost has changed very little or nothing about the game at all. And I said we'll be back here again after a while. And this didn't even end. We are back here. So yeah, for me, it's just tiring. It's wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse. It's just very tiring. So for me, the FA should just go back and clean their house. I'm absolutely tired of speaking about these things. Such a shame and disgrace.
Okay.
Very similar sentiment. In fact, the Nswatriman, the day we're talking about the Nswatriman thing, I chose not to speak. You forced me to say something, and I said I was tired. And we are back here again, and it's painful. For the family of Puli will look at this thing and nothing has changed. So it's almost as if it was a quote-unquote a useless death. It just shouldn't have happened. And in the same season, literally in the same year, just a couple months after. And this thing happens season after season after season after season. We know that when the league is dying down, these issues of match fixing, when teams are threatening relegation, title challenges, tempers are high. The stakes are high. So some of these things happen. That's where you expect all hands on deck to be able to curb these things. But for me, if you have almost the entire FA in London chilling with the Black Stars, why are we sitting here worrying ourselves with? Like, it's just a bit too annoying to talk about. So, as Citro said, hopefully they fix this thing quickly and then we move on.
You know, I need to say this and say it in the strongest and most unequivocal terms. I think this season has been one of the worst Ghana Premier League seasons we've had in a long time. And there was a time where I thought it wasn't possible for us to sink even lower. But we have managed somehow to do that this very campaign. This season, we lost the football fan. This season, we lost a massive investor in Ghana football, in the Instructor-Man owner. He disbanded the team and rendered several tens of people unemployed as a result of our very lackadaisical attitude towards match security and match organization. We've seen the words from Kwame himself. He says he deeply regrets getting into Ghana football. And it could be a matter of time before he too decides that it's enough and he's not going to invest in Ghana football any longer. In a single season, we have somehow managed to lose two very important investors in Ghana football. For a league without a sponsor, without television broadcasters, the organizers themselves have not shown or demonstrated that the league is the most essential and most important product they can have. This weekend was penultimate round of matches in the Ghana Premier League, where potentially 3 teams could set themselves up for a dramatic finish at the end. It was a massive opportunity for us to draw eyeballs into the league and show that there is certain competitiveness to the Ghana Premier League. Instead, what happens? Every top brass member of the Ghana Football Association who mattered followed the Black Stars to London for friendly matches that are not even within the FIFA friendly window and left the Ghana Premier League to its fate. No thought went into the organization. And more than 24 hours after the incident, the Ghana Football Association had not commented on it. Have they commented on it as at this hour?
Nothing.
I haven't seen anything. How is this possible? That an incident involving title content, imagine that in the penultimate round of matches in the Serie A, when Inter Milan and Napoli were going neck for neck, Napoli go and abandon their game halfway into the match because of poor officiating. And the league organizers will not say anything about it for close to 30 hours now. It shows where their priority is. How are you not actively addressing this matter? Crisis communication, crisis management. You don't need to have all the facts before you talk to the people. There are stakeholders. There are fans, journalists, organizers, potential sponsors looking for information. We have nothing. In a single season. Can you believe that Nations FC, Gold Stars, the 2 teams that are going neck for neck for the Ghana Premier League title, this weekend, their 2 matches were not on television. That is the reason, as media, we don't have a single footage, proper video to show you about how the 2 top teams that are contesting for the league title played their matches this weekend. Nothing. How is that possible? But there were games on TV. They put Dreams FC match on TV with Accra Lions. Then they put Kotoko game on TV. And the two teams that were going neck for neck, that should show the very best of Ghana football, Ghana Premier League. The two top teams, their games are not accessible. The fans, the journalists, none of us have access to this. What kind of thinking went into it? Look at what happened in Serie A. When they noticed that only two teams could win the title, they didn't schedule their matches with the rest of the other teams anymore. Inter and Napoli played on Friday. You know what that meant? It meant full concentration. Only 2 matches for them to manage. No thought went into it. The secretariat almost looked dysfunctional because the general secretary was not available. So then we lumped all the games into one day, Sunday afternoon, every single match, all 9 games. And then only a few weeks ago, that's the irony. The GFA president does an interview and says there's massive sponsorship coming and the clubs will smile very soon and that they'll get a big TV sponsor and that they don't need Star Times. They release a whole statement. They don't need television. They don't need Star Times owes them money. They should come and pay. No problem. But what happened this weekend? One match to the end of the season has managed to make what was already a terrible season even more terrible. I didn't think that it was possible that in a season where a fan died and it seemed pulled out of the league, that it was possible for us to do worse than that. But somehow, with one game to the end of the season, when we should be celebrating potentially what should be a great weekend coming up, now no one cares. Potentially, Nations FC get docked 3 points. Gold Stars go on and win the league. Amankwana goes on and he's top squad. But now has shown me the game between Gold Stars and even Brekum Chelsea, which Gold Stars won by 3-2. The massive allegations of how that in itself didn't smell of a game that was of massive competitiveness. In fact, somebody tweeted that a certain player will score 2 goals and Gold Stars will win. And if you see the nature of the goals that Amankwana scored, Benaya, it is unbelievable. I don't know if any of you had a chance to see it, but and the last day of the Premier League season last year, we saw a lot of very comical goals and decisions. And with one game to the end of the season, we are already seeing that. And it was almost as if, it was so lackadaisical, it was almost as if, it was like, go and score, we don't care. Look at the passing sequence that led to the goal. This is a competitive game. Like, what is happening here? This is Gold Stars in green, Brekum Chelsea in blue. The Gold Stars people, no, they pass where's the ball? The people are standing about. Look at the linesman. This is league game, competitive league game. Look at Brekum Chelsea. They have the ball now. See some pass. See the defender. What is he doing? What is this? Puts the ball out to touch. Brekum Chelsea player comes, he jogs in, takes throw in. Just watch. Where's the tackle, Daddy K? Like, what are the defenders doing? Top scorer.
Rash concentration. At the time, let's talk about things that will lift our mood.
Let's take you to London. Banai, please roll the highlights of the Ghana-Nigeria games. Right? We played one on what?
Friday.
On Wednesday?
Friday.
No.
Wednesday and Saturday morning.
Okay, let's show that we've already gone to the Nigeria game, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, no.
You've not done a Nigeria game.
Okay, fine. We'll get back.
Have
to
you?
It. But let's say, Sicho, your thoughts on this game? There were big winners, big losers, and we saw lots of glimpses of brilliance from the Nigeria game.
Yeah.
And this one confirmed that.
Yeah,
Great performances from a lot of...
The Nigerian game was a game of two halves. The first half was very bad. The second half was great. We could have actually won the game in that second half, but we didn't take some of those chances. And it was good to see that we continued from where we left off. We continued in the Trinidad and Tobago game from where we left off in the Nigeria game. It's like almost the same patterns and approach, and the intensity and the combinations is what we saw. And Otoado didn't necessarily change too much about the team that ended, or the team that got a hold of the game in the second half, right? He got a lot of the bodies in the midfield was what ended the game. You know, we saw Christopher Bonsu buy again play. Then Jordan Ayew, as always, led the line pretty well.
Yeah.
The back line again was Urenchi came in, and it was just about the same back line that ended, or the same back line that got a hold of the second half of the Nigerian game. But what was impressive was the understanding that the boys had amongst them. Right?
Young players. Huh?
Yeah, young players and how they played. And all of a sudden, those who couldn't make this window...
I'm thinking twice
You've got to
about
think.
whether their positions are safe.
You've got to think, if I'm a player like Inaki Williams, it doesn't matter where he plays. When he turns off for the Black Stars, it's just like any other player.
Yeah.
He's not special. He's not been special for the Black Stars, let's say it. So when you watch a player like Bonsuba and the way he played, you're wondering, ooh, that's another player to look up to. Alidu Seidu has been injured for a while. Tariq Lamptey hasn't been fit. If they see Jurenchi play, they're like, oh, goodness gracious.
He's not even a right back.
He's not even a right back, but he's doing a massive job in there. And then other players then will look at the team and be thinking, okay, they are. And if you're Mohamed Kudus, if you're Thomas Partey, you are happy. Because you see some very exciting players that you're happy to come into the team to work around. Because when the team is not great and you are just about the good player, it can be tedious. Yeah. Like, there's so much pressure on you. But when you've got a good group of players playing well, you want to be part of that. And so I think the exercise has been really good for Otoado. The result in the Nigeria game wasn't necessarily the thing that I was focused on, but it was the second half performance and how he played in this game against Trinidad and Tobago. 4 different goal scorers, 4 different kind of goals, and, you know, great exercise.
Yeah. DK, Sijo mentioned the fact that there will be some players for sure that will return for those September games. Yeah. Urenchi for sure will be one of the first names on the sheet. Bonsuba also electric, and I think Thomas Asante also scored a brilliant goal against Nigeria. Some players didn't necessarily do too well against Nigeria, like Simpson, but he scored a fantastic header. Do you think he redeemed himself a little bit in the TNT game?
Yeah, and I think the overall defensive performance against Trinidad was good. There were moments in the second half where we were sort of caught off guard. But you sort of expect that when your team has been that dominant offensively, sometimes the defense can be caught off guard. But I think they held their own very well in that game. And we saw a different system. He went 4 back against Trinidad. And the main concern we had was whether this team will be able to carry on that second half performance from Nigeria into this game. The Black Stars don't necessarily start games too well, but this time we saw them on the offing. In fact, there was a very good chance right before the Jordan goal. So the first 5 minutes was, as soon as the starting whistle went, the boys were on the front foot. The passing was good, the understanding, as you said. And this is basically a new group of players. This is the first time that Jordan is playing with Fuseni and Bonsuba and Co during this window. So I really like the understanding. Obviously, the fact that it wasn't a competitive fixture, they were a bit calm about how they approach things. But as a head coach, you look at this and be encouraged. It gives you a massive work to do in terms of who will make that squad in September. And again, it's also a good thing because anything can happen from now till then. Players could start the season, not have the same form. But when you have a lot of players who have come into the group and have settled fine, have shown that they can contribute positively, it always helps you when you have to make the final decision on squads like this. So for me, I'm very, very happy. I just think that we going forward, we need to start finding alternatives to Jordan. He has come into his own at a very good but some way time. Because next year he's 35. Right. Next year, I think, when the World Cup is coming, he's about hitting 35. And first game against Nigeria was instrumental in that second half. This one, he scores a goal, gives 2 assists. In fact, his numbers from last year up until now, everything offensively that has happened with the Black Stars has come through him. And teams will start figuring it out because on paper, you think it is Kudus who is the spark. But everything, the goals, the assists, is all coming through Jordan Ayew. And
So
he's not, he's not the most explosive. He's not the most I feel he's a player that if a team recognizes that he is the go-to man, he can't be stopped. So we need to start getting some of these other guys involved. Yes, Abunsuba and Co were exciting, but the only downside I saw about this in these 2 games was the lack of the end product. They were very exciting, created some good openings, but we didn't see that clinicality, that decisiveness in their play. And it cuts across with the Kuzusis and the Semenyos and Co. When we are playing well, they all play well. But when we are not having a good day, we need to see players aside Partey and Jordan taking up the mantle. And I think obviously it's a good start, and hopefully it gets better with time.
I think one of the exciting things I saw in Danny mentioned that Jordan is so crucial to the team. He almost drew me to make a certain comparison, having watched PSG play, but I won't make it. I know Ghanaians. They'll say, hey. But look, you see, when you play Jordan down the middle, obviously he lacks the pace, to chase the long balls and chase defenders and what have you. And in the game against Nigeria, there were times where we were asking him and Kwame Poku to do a lot of that, having been isolated. It never really worked until the second half where the game changed a little bit. But in that Trinidad and Tobago game, when he was down the middle, he was virtually playing. So he would drop in. But one interesting thing I saw was the movement around him once he dropped in. So Lawrence Ejekum would get ahead of him. Right? Jordan drops, he gets. So it's an understanding in the chemistry. Yeah. Jordan drops, he gets ahead of him. Bonsuba hugs the line, and Fuseni comes short. So I think some credit has to go to the technical team. Because they use those players to their real strength. You know, Mohamed Fuseni can be dangerous in and around the box. Yeah. And they use him well to that effect. Ejekum as well can make those runs and get into the box. He can score when he gets the opportunity. And when you want a player who can combine well and hold up the play, it's Jordan Ayew. So they use him to great effect. So when we use Jordan, we must use him well. You don't want to use Jordan and ask him to chase the long balls. He won't thrive. And Ghanaians will say he's not great, he's not good, he's not this, it's not that. But when you use him well and he has to combine, the more recent game we played in the World Cup qualifiers, comes into the midfield, takes the ball on the turn, plays the through pass. Yeah. But he was leading the line, but look where he picked the ball from and the timing of his pass. That is his strength. When you use him well, it's to great effect.
Okay, fantastic. So a great exercise for Ochoado and his team. Hopefully we'll see more of that in the September window. We're going to take a short break here. When we come back, we're taking you to Champions League, Ghanaian players abroad, the Pyramids, CAF Champions. So we're going foreign. We're leaving Ghana the moment we come back from this very break. Do stay with us. You're watching Sports Zone on Joy Prime. Gary, welcome to the show. Gary,
yes.
Okay, Sicho is okay. Sicho, let's go. Gary, what have you got for us? You've got about 5 to 7 minutes to get through this.
Yes, I might need less than that.
Thank you very much.
You know, I'm very generous.
Yes. What's happening?
Do you trust Otto?
Yes, we trust Otto. He's our national team coach. He's on the verge of qualifying for a second consecutive World Cup.
You.
What do you mean, you?
You do trust Otto?
Yes, I trust Otto.
Since when?
In Otto, I trust.
Quick.
Since when?
Since Otto became Otto, I've trusted Otto.
Hey, fantastical. Then you have to, the trust has to grow more.
Okay.
You see this boy?
Yes.
He has played 18 professional games for his club before coming for the Black Stars. In those 18 games he has played.
Hold on. This man says that I should read this message.
Okay.
I'm so happy with Danike and Sicho. Don't waste your time on these very incompetent people. When we demonstrated against the FA, the spokesperson of Nations FC, together with some stomach sports journalists, said our football was in safe hands. Useless league by all standards. I've declined to comment on this rubbish league. Coach Christopher Nimley. And I skipped the message. Then he sent a follow-up message to threaten me that I should read the message or else he'll report me to my wife. So I've read the message. Karim, please go on.
Yes, Coach. Your message has been read. Let's talk about Coach Otoado now.
Yes.
From Coach Christopher Nimley to Coach Otoado.
Yes.
Who has brought Kelly Birenchi, who plays for North Zealand. The thing is that Otoado deserves big credit for what he has done with him. So if, let me just ask you this question. From the start of the game against Nigeria, you see this boy, then he deploys him as a right back in that game. What would have been coming into your head?
Look, I had not watched him, so all of a sudden I've been thinking about what he can produce down that side. And just like I was expecting to see when he got thrown into the game, I was like, who is that boy? What is he made of? Well, how can he do? You know, and that would have been something for me to look out for.
Exactly. And the thing is that Otto, the information he has is like really deep, more than what we have. And we don't have the kind of information he has about these players. Let's talk about, for example, I've just mentioned that he has played 18 games for his club professionally before coming for the Black Stars. And those 18, none of them has come as a right back. But if you go back to more than a year now, April last year, he was played as a left back for the under-19 team of North Zealand. And you know, Otto has worked there before. It means that he has gotten information there that the guy is capable of playing as a full back. So in deploying him as a right back in those 2 games was big credit to Otto Addo. And if you are looking at the player himself, the kind of attributes he has, playing as a deep midfielder, central midfielder, where he has played the most as a central midfielder. It's so easy for defensive midfielders and central midfielders to slot into those full-back positions. And his game is just built around those qualities: tackling, interceptions, and winning back the ball, that is possession. If you are looking at the kind of tackles he has made per 90 minutes in those games he has played in the Danish league, he's ranking number 3 in terms of tackles won per 90 minutes, 1.24. North Zealand players, and he has played just 18 games. For per 90 minutes, he's winning 1.2 tackles. Then in terms of interceptions, he's the first in the team. We are looking at those runs he's making. Nobody is going past him in those games. It means that something he has done before. It's not like it's something new to him. So it's just a change in position, but the same things he's doing as a midfielder, winning back the ball, is the same things he's doing as a right back for the Black Stars. Then if you are looking at balls won in the final third, he is the second in his team, and he, as a defensive midfielder, he doesn't go really deep into the final third. But when he goes there, it means that his press is really good, getting close to players, running a lot. Those are qualities that are in his game that a lot of us would not have known if he had not come to play for the Black Stars. So those are things he has in his game. Then let's talk about Christopher Barbosu. He's an electric player, an entertaining player, as we've seen in those 2 games. Creativity, he has it. Just a little of end product is what is missing in his games. So in those 2 games we have watched for the Black Stars, it means that he should have had at least a goal for what he has done in those games and an assist, which he has not gotten. Let's look at the chances he has created for, that is Genk. He plays for Genk, that is in the Belgian league. He has created 57 chances for them. That is the second highest in his team. That is the whole of Genk. They'll be playing in the Europa League qualifiers. And if you are looking at the kind of chances he has created in those games, he was instrumental in the consolation goal we've scored against Nigeria. Yeah. He was the one who gave the pre-assist. So it means that his creativity also came to bear for the Black Stars in those games. Big chances created again. He's the second highest in his team with 11 chances he has created. Then if you are looking at the game against Trinidad and Tobago as well, he should have had an assist in that one of those crosses he has made, but it was missed, just like the one Jordan Ayew made against Nigeria. Yeah. His crosses are really good. It means that, let's look at this, expected assist. He's creating the chances and making the assists. So it means that his team, that is Genk, he was supposed to have an average 7 assists this season, but he has 4. That is like underperforming his expected assists by 3 goals. So
that is as a result of
those who are finishing. Yeah. And just like I'm mentioning in those 2 games, I forgot the player he made the pass in the Trinidad and Tobago game. But that is actually Mohamed Fousseni. The one he hit the crossbar or the keeper touch. So it means that one should have been a goal. That would have been an assist to him. And against the one Jordan missed narrowly, that could have also been an assist to him. So it means that he's creating the chances, but the finishers are not doing their job, also missing out on those chances narrowly. And we are seeing the kind of dribbles he did in those games. It means in his team as well, he's the second highest when it comes to dribbles per 90 minutes. An entertaining player, but what he needs to add to his game is the end product. Now let's talk about Mohamed Fousseni. I've spoken largely about him last season. Today again, I just want to touch on a few things. His shooting game. When we saw him, composure, even before the 2 years ago, the video I talked about, is about the composure he has in him. Daniel Grant is smiling. Yeah, you are a believer now. Yeah, when he played this, he was given his first start against Trinidad and Tobago. He scored. If you are looking at that chance, the ball was slightly behind him. He had to pick it and push a little. He was not under pressure. That is the sort of composure I'm talking about. If it was sort of a young player, 23, getting the ball in his first international start for Ghana, he would have been rushing to finish, but he was calm and took his position well to finish that chance. So when he's getting shots on target, there's a high probability that he will score them. Out of the 16 shots he had on target for his club, that is Union Saint-Gilloise, he has converted 56% of them, and he has an expected goal of 9.5, underperforming it by averagely 1 goal. But it takes a lot of shots. We saw it in those games. He is not afraid to shoot. And those ones, it means that if he's about to score a goal for his club, out of the 54, 51 shots he has taken, it's more than almost 6 shots he has to take before he scores a goal. So he's just throwing some light on some of the performance we've seen in those games.
Thank you very much, Karim. Brilliantly done. So we'll see whether all three of them, especially those he highlighted, will get a call back from Otuado for the September matches against Mali and Chad, and how well they will be able to contribute to our journey to the World Cup next year. Let's do CAF Champions League briefly. I'll just show you some highlights of how that second leg happened between Pyramids and Mamelodi Sundowns. Pyramids have won their first ever CAF Champions League trophy. They won the second leg by 2-1 to complete a 3-2 aggregate victory. A bit like the PSG story, oil-rich club that had struggled to win anything continental in a long time. But my first introduction to Pyramids FC was when Eric Bequin went there in 2008. No, he went to Petrojet, actually. And then I think he ended up at Pyramid at some point as well. But Pyramids was Enchi, right?
The Dreams FC.
Yes. John Enchi, who was there for a long time, made a lot of history, and very good. But yeah, it's really great to see. Now, Mayele has one of the best celebrations. He always goes to the fans, and he's a very Congolese player.
Lovely goal.
Yeah, it's a great goal. They won by 2-1 to complete a 3-2 aggregate victory. But yeah, the first leg ended 1-1. Anyway, so congrats to them. They've booked their place to the 2029 FIFA Club World Cup. Doesn't matter what happens in the next few years, they will be there.
Money is coming home.
What a goal, that header.
Yeah.
Fantastic header. Fill the stadium in Cairo, and it was awesome. If anybody told me that Pyramids would be winning the CAF Champions League before Hearts of Oak or Kotoka have won another, I would say it's not possible. But
I told you in 2000, you mean?
Yeah, but look at that. Anyway, so congrats to them. We can do UEFA Champions League now. The final, of course, was between PSG and Inter Milan. We will take the highlights. When we come back, the guys have prepared some tactical analysis of where it all went wrong for Inter Milan and where it all went right for PSG. Take a look. Of course, Desiree Doué was named the young player of the competition. And then
who would you have added to?
Dembele was named the player of the competition. This is the team of the competition dominated by PSG players, Barca players as well, Rafinha and Yamal in there. Dembele, Doué, of course. Rice and Vitinha in midfield. Nuno Mendes, Bastoni, Marquinhos, Hakimi, and Donnarumma in the team of how many PSG players? That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 PSG players out of 11. That is a lot.
I'm still picking Jean Neves over Rice.
Player of the season, Dembele, Ballon d'Or loading. Ballon d'Or loading.
It's not over yet.
And there you go. Guirassy, the first African ever to top score in the Champions League Same number of goals as Rafinha, of course, 13. So congrats to the Guinea international. And Desiree Doué, young player of the season. This guy has the arrogance and the confidence of a top player. That's how we wrap up the show this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Sisho. Thank you, Daniel. Show proudly brought to you by Piva Beverages and Guinness. Of course, Kivo, Gary 1 in 1, Gary 4 in 1 mix. I said 1 in 1.
1 in 1.
We're back again next Monday with another episode. Until then, do take care of yourself and bye-bye.